Okay, so there's been a bit of an uprising in reaction to the statue in the middle of Times Square. Apparently, Anna Wren and this I'm Just a Girl character have taken to the interweb and talked about how viscerally they dislike it. Not just them. Shira 7, a whole entourage of elitist, classist, and internalized colorist, in many cases, women have taken to social media to talk about this. And not just women either, okay? A lot of black men, of course, have been very vocal too. Now, here's the problem I have with this, okay? I'm going to present to you some evidence as to why this is all BS, hypocritical, double standard, internalized racism, misogynoir, all manifesting in a very ugly way. So first of all, this beautiful statue, which I actually happen to like. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, breath of fresh air. I exhaled because I was like, wow, this is realism. This is like every day, your average Jane, you know, just kicking it, going down to the store. Even the woman who modeled for this admitted that that's what it was. The outfit was kind of just going down to grab some toothpaste. I think she used that example. And sure, she even chimed in to say, hey guys, you know, this isn't the one I wanted you to go with. I wanted you to go with one with me more dressed up. Because she herself is suffering from the cantankerous web of misogynoir that has affected a lot of black women. She feels, even herself, seeing herself, even though she's proud of it, on some level, she feels like it should have been more, like she should have been doing more, like she felt like she had to be performative. So even the model herself suffers from this generational trauma of not being able to rest and just be in your authentic self. There's a woman on TikTok right now going viral for saying that the reason that your mom or your grandma hate rest, they hate being alone, they hate the quiet, is a trauma response. They have to keep busy so that they don't have to deal with their own feelings, so they don't have to deal with their own unpacking of things. And I can attest to this being very true, as I'm sure many of us can. We all know someone who's like that. It's like they won't take a minute to just rest and exist and be beautiful in that moment. Do you know that you're perfect the way you are, black women? Do you know that you're all beautiful? Masks as well. You're beautiful as you are. You are being the perfect version of you at this moment in time. You don't know what you don't know, right? So 20 years from now, you'll know better. But I guarantee you that one thing that will never change is that you deserve to just be. You deserve to exist as you are. You shouldn't have to be performing. You shouldn't have to be wearing something actualized or exy. You should be able to just wear what you want to wear and exist, as many of our white counterparts do. Okay? Many of them do. Also, what's funny about Hannah Wren or Anna Wren or whatever her name is, and I'll be fair to Anna, because she did try and backtrack and apologize and say that's not what she meant, but only after the internet dragged her. The interesting thing about her and this I'm Just a Girl woman, who's, by the way, I'll get to her in a minute, is that I'm sensing a bit of pick me. I'm sensing a bit of it wasn't me, I wasn't chosen, even from Shira, who I hear through the grapevine was called out for wearing low quality hair pieces, and so now has just gone to wearing her natural hair. And maybe she was feeling exposed in that, and she felt the need to drag down another black woman. Listen, the interesting thing about these three women and all the people behind them who support what they say is that you're the same people who are so certain, you were so sure that you would be chosen by the white man. You were so sure that you'd be picked by white society, that if there was ever going to be a model, a statue modeled on a person, it would be you, right? Because you are the dog's bollocks of looks. Like, you are eating all day long, right? Your face cards eat. You are the epitome of black beauty, because, you know, blackness is a monolith and should be confined to the parameters set by Eurocentric standards. That makes perfect sense. This is the thing. If it had been a model that looked dainty and petite, right? Because black women exist in this form as well. Very beautiful, very attractive. You would have been happy. You would have been happy because, we've been accepted into white society. We are now in the mold. We fit into the mold, right? We're now considered beautiful. You wouldn't have seen anything wrong with that. And your disease would have continued to spread. But what you have here is a challenging reflection of some women who do exist in your life. not just in your community, not just in your world, but in your reality. Yeah. By now, we've all heard that we all have an aunt or a mom or a relative or a friend, a partner who looks like this. So what the hell are you saying to those people? And by the way, there's a whole swathe of beautiful black women who are heavy set, bigger built, and still comfortable in themselves. And that makes you uncomfortable. And that's what the real issue is. Now, not only that does it make you uncomfortable, but the fact that they've put it on a pedestal for all to see, hey, this is a representation of black beauty as well. This, because, you know, black beauty is a spectrum, and we just want to give a shout out to those who normally don't get representation in the media. You're freaking out, you're bugging out, you're glitching the fuck out. Because why? That right there is what you need to drill down on. I think Hannah Wren was a bit embarrassed by the confrontation that she faced when she really internalized it, and she did a little work to the point of, you know, backtracking and trying to apologize. I'll give her that. But you pretty girls, who, by the way, I love, are always represented in the media. You're always being chosen. You're always being picked. You have all eyes on you. So why is it that you are now crashing out because the spotlight is not on you? It's on your sister. It's on a friend. You sound like white people when they are not the topic of the conversation. You sound like white people when they try and burrow in and say, hey, why isn't this about us? Main character syndrome or narcissistic tendencies. Either way, it needs to be unpacked. You guys seem to forget that this was based on a real woman. And not only was it based on a real woman, but there are other statues of other black women of different sizes, wearing different outfits all over the world right now, in Europe right now. There's a monument, a masterpiece in Senegal depicting a man, his wife, and their child facing the wind, soaring metaphorically, and facing the future together as a unit. You people who are quick to criticize the Times Square statue, do you even know about this one? Did you even know it existed? And if you did, how come you've never piped up to say, oh, this is great. This is great black representation. You didn't do that because you expected it. The woman in that monument is frail and, you know, clinging to her man and oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Please lead me, man. And you're okay with that. You're okay with patriarchy depicting the black woman like that. But when it's a regular woman that you pass on the street every single day in her comfortable clothing, saying, yeah, I'm comfortable in my skin, I deserve to take up space, you have a problem with that. You see how it doesn't make sense? See how it's a lot of internalized issues there that you need to unpack? You want to know how I know this is all BS? And how you're deeply hypocritical and ignorant? If that statue had been a depiction of Queen Latifah, wearing a pair of comfortable sweats, yeah, would you have the same problem? What about Toni Morrison? If someone had paid homage to Toni Morrison as she looked, you know, she was a plus size woman, what would you say about that? Hey, she had locks. She liked to wear comfortable clothes, like just a t-shirt. What would you say to that? Would you be so quick to judge her? And then imagine if you didn't know that she had been an author. Imagine if you just saw her image, her statue, and you didn't know that she was an author. I bet you would have come for her. What about if it was, I don't know, let's see, Pam Grier today? Not Pam Grier in Jackie Brown. Pam Grier today. Would you say that it's a big ugly monster then? Tell you what about if it was Oprah? A deplorable human being, I know. Terrible example, but we need to here because I need to show the level of hypocrisy. If it had been a successful black woman, is my point, right? Let's take Viola Davis. She's naturally very muscular. And if she was standing there, hand on hip, loving herself, loving her life, what would you be saying then? Because you lot love to praise her when she's in the movies. You love to praise her when she's portraying a worn out, tired, run down black woman with tears on her face. But to see her happy and comfortable in her truth, in her muscular form, standing, you know, in her stature, what would you say to that? What about Taraji P. Henson today? What about Angela Bassett today, not in Waiting to Exhale. She was fine as hell in that, but she's fine as hell today. You know, she's got that middle-aged spread now. What would you say to that? Are you saying these women do not deserve representation? Are you saying that once you cross a certain threshold, whether it's weight, age, whatever, you don't deserve representation on this earth? But you exist, so your existence is truly valid. What about if it was the woman, I forget her name, from, you know, Gone with the Wind, and she was also in Song of the South. Great actor of her time. Unfortunately, she died of breast cancer, but, you know, she was iconic in herself. If she had been standing there, no, not in a mammy outfit, but in her own comfortable clothing from that time, would you be so quick to criticize her? I'm going to read a few quotes from the internet. An actual living, existing woman was the model for the sculpture, so when people criticize how it looks, I'm sure it really hurts her. I can walk down the streets right now and find 20 women who look exactly like her. Are you upset that some women aren't BBL Insta baddies? I would agree with that question. What about this? Is it a mammy character, or is it the literal depiction of everyday black women you see? Whether it's your aunt, mother, grandma, cousin, whatever, you seeing it as a mammy says more about you than anything else. The purpose of the statue is meant to serve as a reminder that black women don't always have to do something extraordinary to be worthy of praise and attention. Just existing is enough. So you women who say that she should have been doing more, she should have been more beautiful, she should have been, you know, she looks unkempt. You're the same people who your mother or grandma probably yelled at you for sleeping in. You've inherited the same trauma, guys. And maybe you don't care, and that's fine. Just stay the hell away from me. But if you're looking to evolve on this earth and actually use this life school for what it was meant for, then I would seriously take stock of where your feelings are with this statue. And it's okay. Don't be defensive. If you find that you've been a hypocrite, if you find that you don't like that part of yourself, the way you've reacted to it, love yourself through it and work the fuck through it. But do not come on the internet and try and bring a whole group of women down just because you don't see yourself reflected in them. Do you think they see themselves reflected in you? Spread across Vogue and all these magazines and billboards and in music videos. No representation nowhere. Unless it's, you know, fetish or actualization. And here we have one that is neutral. By the way, designed by a black guy, but you guys didn't know that. I can tell the ones who didn't know that it was a black sculptor, because you're like, this is how they see us, y'all. I'm quoting I Am Just a Girl right now. This is how they see us, y'all. You had no idea that it was done by a black man who wanted to open the floor to discussions of inclusion and who wanted to celebrate black diversity in all its forms. There is no they. This was a black guy, okay? In all seriousness, you guys have a lot of aesthetic unpacking to do. There is not one black aesthetic. You're the same people who go into videos and under comments saying that, oh, blackness is not a monolith. We are diverse. And then here you are, throwing your own to the wolves. It's sickening. It's disgusting. And you should all be ashamed of yourselves. And I hope that some of you who've been saying these horrible things will get that middle-aged spread that you're so terrified of, that your mum or your auntie has, that you've run away from your whole life because you've been trying to starve yourself into the white aesthetic mold. I hope it fails. But shame on you. The model herself had to come on here and say that she had to call Shira 7 out on it. And she was saying that, fuck you, Shira 7, basically, because, she used to like Shira 7. Imagine that. Imagine idolizing or admiring someone, agreeing with most of what they say, only for them to turn around and see a reflection of you and say, oh, that's not it. That's horrible. It's disappointing. Who the hell are you to judge? And who made you the face card of black women? That's what I'd like to know. You can't even bloom and shine in natural face. You have to always put on a mask to be who you are. You can't just be. You people just can't. You can't just be. These beautiful women who like their faces beat can't even exist without makeup. That's how uncomfortable with themselves that they are. So this message is for my plus size ladies, and for anyone who was basically offended by this. I see you. We see you. The world sees you. This is your moment. Revel in it. Bask in it. You deserve it. You have a monument attributed to your existence in whatever form that takes, and that is great. That to me is progress, right? Because like I said, there are other statues by the same guy of black women in the svelte, slender aesthetic that you guys are so hungry for, already satisfied, already met, right? You guys haven't even done your research to look at this series, but so what I'm saying is you shouldn't even be threatened by this. You shouldn't be you sound like white people when black people talk about reparations. You feel like, oh, it's going to affect you. You've got a lot of internalized racism, misogynoir, and sexism to unpack. So good luck with that. This has been Reiko Talks. Like and follow for more.